A varjitah sarveshwara ishwarah. The sarveshwaras excluding a and a, they are called ishwaras. So what was sarveshwara? So when I ask anything, so we have to give the sutra as a definition. So let's say, okay, okay. First of all,
तत्रादौ चतुर्दश सर्वेश्वरा
yes, pause. तत्रादौ चतुर्दश सर्वेश्वराः. Tatradav Chaturdasha Sarveshwara. So when we exclude a and a from the Sarveshwaras, the remaining class is known as Ishwaras. Okay, so they are Ri, Ri, A, I, O, O. So you might have noticed that I have posted one YouTube link in the group today. So so a devotee from for my batch, one of our student, he is recording and posting on the YouTube. So they are very nice actually. So you can take advantage of them, and they will help you in memorizing the sutras. Of course, they are from the Brihat version, but you can just neglect the sutras which are not included in the Madhyama one. Dashavatara Isha. Dashavataras excluding a and a are called Ishas. So we knew, okay, so Dashavatara, right? So when we exclude the a and a from Dashavataras, the remaining part is classified as Ishas. So u, ri, ri. So in the future, whenever I ask like what is Dashavatar or what is Sarveshwara, what is Isha, what is Ishvara, so then you have to recite the sutra. So which means you have to memorize the sutra in order to pronounce it at a later point. A, u, anantah. The letters a, I, u, u, they are called anantas. That's all. I, u, chatuh sanah. The letters I, E, U, U are called Chatusanas, right? They are quite simple, very easy definitions, very easy groups to be able to comprehend. But initially, because they are so many, so they may look like, you know, uh, a long list to memorize and to keep in mind at once. But it happens gradually and they become just our second nature. You know, if we say Chatusana, so naturally it comes out. Okay, Chatusana, Ananta Ananta. So yes, U Ri Chaturbhuja. The letters U, Ri are called Chaturbhujas. A, I, O, O, Chaturvyuha. The letters A, I, O, and O, they are called Chaturvyuhas. Chaturvyuhas. The earlier grammarians called them Sandhyaksharas, Sandhyaksharani, and all of them are Trivikramas. So A, I, O, and O, they are all Trivikramas. It's not that A is Vamana, I is Trivikrama, and then O is Vamana, O is Trivikrama. No, all of them are Trivikramas, long vowels. So, the difference between pronouncing a short vowel and a long vowel is when we pronounce a short vowel, Vamana Akshara, then the time taken to pronounce the short vowels is considered to be one matra, a normal time to pronounce them. But to pronounce the Trivikrama Aksharas, the longer vowels, so the time taken is two matras. So we double the amount of time while pronouncing the Trivikrama Aksharas. So, for example, if we say uh, like Ram, Ram. So Ra is Trivikrama, it's long A, and Ma is just a Vamana A. So we don't say Rama, that would be, that would be a simple Vamana A and Vamana A, Rama. Neither we say Rama, Rama, no, but we say Ram. Okay, so it's the time taken. One more example could be, okay, let's use Mataji's name. You know. Okay, first of all, we'll pronounce this as Charuta, Charuta, because all of these are Vamanas. And we pronounce this as Charuta, but this one will be Charuta, Charuta. We'll stop for a while pronouncing the Trivikrama Aksharas. So just a little difference between the pronunciation of the Vamana Aksharas and the Trivikrama Aksharas. So A, I, O. Whenever they appear in any verse or any commentary anywhere, so we have to stop for a while pronouncing these because they are Trivikramas. Ang iti Vishnu Chakram. So Akar Ucharanartha. So basically, the Vishnu Chakra is only this one. Now, someone may ask, so what is the use of here? So Jiva Goswami is saying Akara Ucharanartha. The in is for the sake of pronunciation, because we cannot just pronounce this Vishnu Chakra without the help of any vowel before it. It's called, and this is known as Vishnu Chakra, and other grammarians they say it Anuswar, Anuswar, and we say it Vishnu Chakra. This is Ang iti Vishnu Chapaha. So this is known as Chandra Bindu. Chandra Bindu. Even some say it Anunasika. So like that. Nasika Bhavaha Ayam. This is pronounced from the nose. It's a nasal sound. It's known as Vishnu Chapa in our grammar. Others say it to be Anunasika or Chandra Bindu. And Sanunasikastu Mukha Nasika Bhavaha. So because it's nasal, so that's why, of course, the sound comes out from the mukha, from the mouth, but it's also because it's a nasal sound, so also we take help of the nose. So for example, now I'm having some cold, so it's very easy to pronounce for me to this, so like that. So this varna is pronounced in the nose, but a varna with an anunasika is pronounced by using both the mouth and the nose. So yes. Iti Vishnu Sargaha. So these two dots, which we see in Devanagari script and in the Roman one like that. So this is Vishnu Sarga. Others they say it to be Visarga. So from now on, we'll use the terms which are given by Jiva Goswami. We won't say Visarga, we won't say Anuswara and so on. We'll say Vishnu Sarga, Vishnu Chakra, Sarveshwara, ityadi. Kadayo Vishnu Janah. All the Varnas from Ka onward are called Vishnu Janas. We did Sarveshwaras, all the Sarveshwaras, all the 14 Sarveshwaras. Then we did three special sounds, uh, which were Vishnu Chakra, Vishnu Chapa, and Vishnu Sarga. Now moving ahead to the consonants. So the consonants beginning from Ka onward are called Vishnu Janas. Vishnu Janas. ककार आदयः हकार अन्तः वर्णा विष्णुजन नामानः भवन्ति. So beginning from the letter Ka till the letter H. So the Ka Kha Ga Kha Nga Cha Cha Ja Ja Nya Ta Tha Da Dha Na Ta Tha Da Dha Na Pa Pha Ba Bha Ma Ya Ra La Va Sha Sha Sa Ha. So all these are Kadayas. Ka Adi, Ka Adi becomes Kadayah, and they are known as Vishnu Janas. Every Vishnu Jana is dependent on a Sarveshwara in the same way as the living entities are dependent on Lord Vishnu, who, being all pervading, is the controller of everything Sarveshwaras. So, this point we had discussed yesterday, that all the Vishnu Janas, they are dependent, that's why they are Vishnu Janas, and they are dependent on Sarveshwara. Just like the living entities, they depend on Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna for their sustenance or maintenance. Nitya Nityanam, Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman Ityadi. Yes. Then Karsha Sanyoge to Kshaha. I had told this yesterday that the letter Ksha is, is not a new letter, it's just a Sanyoga, conjunction of Ka and Sha. Yes, but Ksha is the combination of Ka and Sha. And
Can
other.
I interrupt? Sorry.
Yes, Madhuri.
So if it is not a new letter, why in the Devanagari font does it have a new kind of like a way to write it?
Means it's just a conventional way to write certain words like that. And we have many actually. We have Ksha.
Yeah, there is
We have
Tra, there is
Tra,
Shra.
we have
Yeah.
Shra. So there are many like that. In any language we do have. In Bengali, we have many like that. Like if you say Padma, so the and ma together in Bengali looks like a different thing, a new word. So it's just the way to write them, but basically they are made up of uh, the letters which are already existing in the
So
alphabet.
can we also write it by joining the letters that they make up?
Okay, let's see. Like this is one way, Dma, if we write Padma, and then this Padma could also be like that. So it just depends. Okay, Mataji?
Okay.
Other grammarians, earlier grammarians, called the Vishnu Janas the Vyanjanas or the Hal. So basically, they are known as Vyanjanas, and Panini said to be Hal, Halashta. So yes, we did 16 sutras in just a short time today. So
Thank you, Prabhuji.
te mantaha pancha pancha Vishnu vargaha. The Vishnu Janas from Ka to Ma, arranged in 5 groups of 5, are called Vishnu Vargas. So these 25 letters from the Vishnu Janas, when they are defined, this is a row, right? Or column. I'm always confused. Column, I think. So the 5 columns, they are defined into 5 vargas. 5 groups or classes. So we have ka varga beginning with ka. So ka, kha, ga, gha, ma. Then cha varga is cha, cha, ja, jha, nya. Ta varga is ta, tha, da, dha, na. Ta varga is ta, tha, da, dha, na. Pa varga is pa, pha, ba, bha, and ma. Okay. Ideally, it should be there should be halanta with every letter. I believe everyone knows what is halanta. If not, you can ask if you are not new to Devanagari language. So halanta is indicates that there is no vowel connected with the consonant. So that is a pure consonant, but here they have included this the letter a just to facilitate the pronunciation and so on. So earlier grammarians called them vargas only, but we say them to be Vishnu vargas. Ka varga is so named because it consists of the following 5 varnas beginning with ka, ka, kha, ga, kha, ma. Cha varga, ta varga, ta varga, and pa varga are formed in the same way. Among the Vishnu vargas, any varna which belongs to the same varga is called savarga or savarna. This is important. And among the Vishnu vargas, any varna which belongs to the same varga. So, for example, this is a group which is known as ka varga. So, any varna which belongs to the same group is called savarga. So now gha belongs to ka varga. The letter ga belongs to the ka varga. So it will be savarga. The letter ga will be savarga for ka varga. In simple words, it just belongs to ka varga. That's all. And what will be the usage? We'll get to know in Sandhi Prakaranam. Yes, like that. So te mantaha pancha pancha Vishnu vargaha. Mantaha means ma antaha. The letter ma is at the end of which, that is known as mantaha. So ending with the varna ma. Pancha pancha means in 5 groups of 5 Vishnu vargas. Right? Then even in the Vishnu vargas, the 5 vargas, there is now classification row wise, vertically. Kacha tatapa
So
harikamanadi.
columns are vertical and rows are horizontal. So the vargas were the rows.
Yeah, I said that the rows are the vertical ones, sorry, the horizontal ones, and the columns are the vertical ones. So now we are talking of the columns in the Vishnu vargas. So kacha tatapa harikamalani. So ka, cha, ta, ta, and pa together they are known as harikamalas. Okay. Then kha, cha, tha, tha, pha harikhatga. The second column is kha, cha, tha, tha, pha. They are known as harikhatgas. See, harikamala, kamala because it starts with ka. Okay, just to ease the understanding. Because it starts with ka, so it's harikamala. Because it starts with kha, so it's harikhatga. Then ga, ja, da, da, ba. Because it starts with ga, so it's harigada. Ga, ja, da, da, ba, harigada. Okay, we'll do 2 more simple ones. Ga, ja, da, ba, harigada. Then gha, jha, dha, dha, and bha. Because it starts with gha, so it's hari ghosha. Ghajadadhabha Harighosha. Then the last one is Ma Nya Na Na Ma Harivenavaha. Ma Nya Na Na Ma. Um, these are known as Hari Venus. Jiva Goswami didn't start the word from this letter. He just said Hari Venus in this one. So Hari Kamala, oops, Hari Khadga, Hari Gada, Hari Ghosha, Hari Venu. These are all very important. I'm saying, like beginning with the very next chapter, Sandhi onwards, all these definitions, practically everything is based on all these terminologies. Hari Gada, Hari Ghosha, this and that, everything. So please, please, please do memorize these sutras very nicely. And yeah,
ठीक है.
for today. Again, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 1. We are doing the Anvaya here. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadhyasya Yatonvayaditaratarsh Chartheshvabhignah Swarat Tene Brahma Hridayadikavaye Muhyanti Yat Surayah Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirastakuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi. So, yes. So this is the Anvaya, and Mataji is saying that her Gurudev had contributed much in this service, so all glories to you, Gurudev, and the devotees who did it. Rukmini Mataji. So you must have read it, Mataji, right?
No, I read the English one.
Okay, so here we are doing the Mula. So, Asya Janma Vishwasya. So the words you see in these brackets, the parentheses, they are like synonyms of the word from the shloka. So we have Janmadya Asya, Asya. So Asya of what? Of Vishwa. The way, so Asya Vishwasya Janma Adi Janma Sthiti Bhangam. So Janma means creation, Sthiti means maintenance, Bhangam means annihilation. Yataha. So for doing this, we have to keep the shloka in brain intact. So whenever a word comes, so automatically, okay, where does yataha comes? Janma, yasya, yato, okay, yato, yataha, So it has to go quite quickly in the brain, the shloka. Or you can keep your Bhagavatam or shloka open in front of you in another screen or a book form. So you can refer to the book and, because if I just scroll down again, up and down, it will take much of time here. So I'll prefer you have some Bhagavatam besides you. Yataha Parameshwarat Artheshu Vishwa Karyeshu Anvayat Karanatvat Itaratah Cha Vyatirekat Akaryasya Asatvat Bhavati. So this is like a one sentence here. So now what's being said is, from whom? So from Parameshwara, the creation, maintenance and annihilation of this, of the manifested universe becomes possible. Bhavati. Right? Artheshu anvayat itaratah cha. Now the Supreme Lord, the Parameshwara, is the Karana. Now there are two things, Karana and Karya. In English we say the cause and the effect. Cause refers to the Karana and effect refers to the Karya. So Artheshu. Now Artheshu refers to the Karya, the effect. Sorry, the Karya, the effect. Means the manifested universe which we see around us. This is the result, this is the outcome. And that's known as the Karya, the effect. So it's Vishwakarya. So in this Vishwakarya, the Parameshwara is the Karana through his energies. Now this Anvayat and Itaratah has got multi commentaries, multi meanings, especially by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Jiva Goswami. They have given many meanings of Anvayat and Itaratah, but we're simply following words in the Anvaya by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada ji. So Krishna is the Karana of the Karya. Now, this manifest universe is made up of the Pancha Mahabhuta, basically. You know, the Pancha Mahabhuta, Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayu, Kham. Now, what is the cause of, or there are two ways to understand that everything in this world is a combination, is made up of Pancha Mahabhutas. So Pancha Mahabhutas are the cause and everything manifested here is the effect. This is one. Now Pancha Mahabhuta, if we take Pancha Mahabhuta to be the effect, now then we can take the Mahat Tattva to be the cause. Because from Mahat Tattva comes out the Pancha Mahabhutas. When you know the reaction and everything else happens. So when Karana Dakshay Vishnu, he glances over the material nature, then it becomes active. So in that sense, the ultimate Karana is Karana Dakshay Vishnu, and the Karya is the Pancha Mahabhutas and all the things coming ahead. So that's how Parameshwara is the Karana of everything, of the effect which we see, and Itaratah, and anything which is Vyatirekat akaryasya asatvat, anything which is not existing in this world, you know, which is not affected in this world, is not caused by Parameshwara. This is a little technical. For example, Sridhar Swami gives the example of Pushpa K Pushpa. There is nothing like flowers in the sky. You know, flowers cannot grow in the sky. So it's a karya. The flowers cannot affect in the sky. The sky cannot be the cause of bearing flowers. The flowers can only grow on the land. So anything which is not in effect is not caused by Parameshwara. So this is Itaratah, Vyatirekat.
So Vyatireka means the reverse or the opposite, or what does Vyatireka mean?
Yeah, one meaning of Anvaya and Vyatirek is Anvaya means direct, Pratyaksh, and Vyatireka means Apratyaksh, indirect. So
Okay.
yeah, that is one meaning which is described by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, you know, amongst the 5 meanings he has given. So that's one part. Then moving ahead. So I know it might sound a little technical, but please bear. In a couple of classes, we'll get used to it and we'll really enjoy and relish. And I think that's what we are here for ultimately. To, you know, get to know the shlokas, the meanings in depth. Yaha Parameshwara Abhignaha Jagat Kartritve Sarvato Bhavena Jnata Achetana Pradhanam Na Jagat Karta. So the Parameshwara, he is Abhignya. Abhignya in English is knower, one who knows. So Jagat Kartritve Sarvato Bhavena Gyata. So whatever is happening in this universe, so the Parameshwara knows everything. Sarvato Bhavena means completely. It's not that he just knows some part of it and some part of it is, unknowable to him. Unknown. No, everything is known to Parameshwara. That's Abhignya. Sarvato Bhavena Jnata. Achetanam Pradhanam Na Jagat Karta. Someone may object that everything is coming up from Prakriti, from the nature, the Pradhana we see. So Pradhana may be the Jagat Karta, the cause of the creation. But Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada says no. Although it appears like everything is coming up from Pradhanam, from the Pancha Mahabhutas, the 5 material elements, but Pradhana in itself is dull. It's not Abhigya. It's just a dead matter, Jada. It's a Chetana. There is no life in Pradhanam. So one who is lifeless, how can he be the knower? If one has to be live, or one has to be a living thing, living person, to be a knower of something. A phone, this is dead. Of course, we have built a software which contains, certain memory and certain things. But in itself, it's just a dull matter, a dead matter. It cannot know anything. But to speak of being Abhigya, it is not knowing anything, even 0.1%. So that's what the point is, that Pradhanam can never be an independent Jagat Karta. That's what Krishna says in Gita, that Prakriti works under me. I'm all in all. And he's Swarat. Now someone may object, okay, that the Jivas also, because they are living entities, so maybe the Jivas could be the Jagat Karta. Someone may object like that. But further they say, no. Yes, the Jivas are also made of that Chit potency, the Chit Samvit potency. But they are not Swaratas. They are not independent. They are dependent. That's what we read today in Harinamamrit Vyakaranam. They are called Vishnu Janas. And Lord is known as Sarveshwara. So Krishna is Swarat, Parameshwara is Swarat, not the living entities. Svena eva rajate yaha swatah siddha jnanamaya. So the knowledge of the living entities is based upon the knowledge of the Lord, which we are just coming up. Even Lord Brahma, the foremost living entity, has to learn from the Supreme Lord. So now if I'm dependent on anyone else for anything, including knowledge or understanding, then how am I independent? Am I not dependent on anyone else? So even the foremost living entity is dependent on Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, to gain knowledge. So he's dependent. So what to speak of the normal living entities like us? But Krishna, he's Swatah Siddha Jnanamaya. The knowledge he's having, it's his own knowledge of his own Swarupa. It's not borrowed or learned from anyone else. It's his own thing. It's his own copyright, I'll say, or patent. Jiva na Jagat Karta. So that's why Jivas cannot be the cause of the creation. Adi Kavaye.
So here the Svena and the Svatah, what do they refer to? So Svena is
Svena refers to the Lord by his own self,
Oh, okay.
Svena. Adi
And
Kavaye.
Svatah.
Swata is Swata Siddha, Swataha. Again, the same thing, from his own inner self.
Okay. All right.
Swataha Siddha. It's coming from inside him. And what to say of inside him? Like, because Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha. there is no inside or outside for him, it's for us. So it's like swatah siddha, just coming out of him. Adi kavaye Brahma, Adi kavaye Brahmane, Brahma Tattvam Vedam va Hrida Manasa Buddhi Vritti Pravartakatvena Tene Prakashayamasa. So it was Parameshwara who manifested the knowledge of the Vedas, the Tattva Jnanas, who bestowed this knowledge unto Lord Brahma by the method of, or by Hrida, Manasa Buddhi Vritti Pravartakatvena, in the heart of Lord Brahma. Or another meaning is that Lord Vishnu did a sankalpa of imparting the knowledge to Brahma. So the sankalpa is done in the Hridaya. So Lord Vishnu did the sankalpa in his own Hridaya to impart the knowledge, and the knowledge was imparted. It wasn't that he had to do a Zoom call and all, to do such things. It's just a sankalpa of Lord. So any living entity can only do a sankalpa, not a dead matter. That's also one point. Tenes prakashaya masa. Yat yasmin parameshware surayah brahmadayah muhyanti, which moham prapnuvanti. So Yasmin Parameshwara, in the matter of Parameshwara, in order to understand Parameshwara fully or completely, even the mostly highly intelligent people like Brahma, Narada, Ityadi, they are also bewildered. And we know from Srimad Bhagavatam, at least two of them, like Indra and Brahmaji, they got bewildered. And if we study the Ramayana, I studied it in Tulsidasa Ramayana. So there is a story of how Narada Muni even got bewildered in understanding the Lord's nature and his potency. So the Suraya Muyanti, how Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayaha. This is a little technical and interesting. Vyatyayah Anyasmin Anya Avabhasaha. So Anyasmin Anya Avabhasa, which means when we impose, Anyasmin Anya Avabhasa. So for example, if we have water and we understand water to be land, that is Anyasmin Anya Avabhasa. Avabhasa means appearance or manifestation. When land is appearing in place of water, when actually it is water. So that is Anyasmin Anya Avabhasa. So Marichi Kayah Tejasi Vari Buddhi. So in a desert, in a mirage, so although we have only soil there, so but what happens is, in that soil, in that land, Anyasmin Anya Avabhasa happens, and in place of that soil, what do we consider there? It appears to be water. That is Anyasmin Anya Avabhasa. Are you getting this? Anyasmin Anya Avabhasa? If not, you can ask. This is
Can you break down the word?
okay. Let me just write it here.
Raj.
Anyasmin, okay, and Anya, Anya Avabhasa. Okay, Prabhu?
Yes.
What was Vyatyayah?
Yeah, Vatya is a Sanskrit term, and the same Vatya is explained in an easy wordings here, Anyasmin Anya Avabhasa. So if we want, we can see.
I see. So that's the explanation of Vyatya.
Yeah,
Okay.
transposition, translation, inverted order, and so on. So in the mirage, we consider water in place of land. We know from Mahabharata the story of Duryodhana. He considered Jala to be Sthala and Sthala to be Jala. In place of Jala, water, he considered it to be land, and in place of land, he considered it to be water, Jala. So that is Anyasmin Anyabhasa. Even in the Vedanta, they say it to be, Sarparajju Nyaya, if you have heard of that. So Sarparajju Nyaya means it's a rajju, it's a rope, but if, let's say, there is no light in your room and in a new place you are going and the lights are switched off and there is some rope lying down and somehow suddenly you step over that rope and you just consider it to be a snake. And in fact, it is not a snake. So you're imposing that mentality that this is snake. So that is Anyasmin Anya Avabhasa. So like that. And Mridi Chaka Chadav Vari Buddhi Ityadi. These are some examples. Like in a desert, we see water in place of land. And so, yes, like that. Adhishthana Satyaya Satyavat Pratiyate. Now, what happens is, like in a mirage, the fact that it appears to be water, it appears like truth, that oh, it is water, but it is not. But that experience that we are getting, that it is water, is based upon the fact that there is soil. If there is no soil, then we cannot have that experience even of Anyasmin Anyabhasa. Are you getting the point? If there is no soil, then there won't be any point of us even misunderstanding that it is water. So Adhishthana Satyaya, because of the presence of Adhishthana, that cause the soil, Satyavat Pratiyate, the water looks like real thing. I think it's making some sense. Adhishthana Satyaya Satyavat Pratiyate. Pratiyate means it appears like, but it is not. Tatha, similarly, Yatra Trisargah Trayanam Maya Gunanam Tamo Rajah Sattvanam Srishti Mrisha Na Vastutah San Anena Jada Upadhi Sambandham Varyati. That now the basis of the Adhar or the Adhishthan of this manifested universe of this Bhautik Prakriti is Krishna himself, the Lord, the Vishnu Tattva. And he is the only truth, Satyam Param Dhimai. Now the Trisarga refers to the creation which is made up of the three modes of material nature. They are not truth. They are Mrisha. Mrisha means they are false. Na Vastutah San. They are not Vastu. Vastu means Vastava. Vastava means what is truth. But they are not Vastu. They are not factual. They are false. But because they are based upon the existence of Lord Vishnu, that's why they appear to be real. So that's why even though this material world is Asat, Achit and Niranand, it appears to us to be Sat, Chit and Anandmay. Does it make any sense? It appears to be ever existing, Sat. It appears to be full of knowledge, full of facts. It appears to be Anandamay. Oh, everything is good here, But actually, it's not like that. It's not ever existing. Pralayas do happen. We do die, take birth. And when we speak of Ananda, so Krishna has already declared it's Dukhalaya. But because it's based upon Krishna and his energies, that's why it looks real, just like water looks real when based upon soil, but there is no water actually. So this is the point which is being made. And anena jad upadhi sambandham varyati. And by saying this, what is the intention of saying all this? Jad upadhi sambandham varyati. Varyati means to restrict, to restrain. So when one understands that this, the material creation, the elements in it are false, are temporary, so the upadhi sambandham, the designations that we accept here, the relations that we do build here, are all with the jada, the dull and the dead matter, and they are all false. So we should be careful to not, get into that upadhi sambandham, into designations and deep relations into with the jada, the dead matter, because they are false, and it will just result into shoka for us, because we'll get attached to it and they have to deteriorate, and then we'll cry, oh, I lost something. So anena jada upadhi sambandham varayati.
So Varyati is restrain, or what is it?
It can be restricted or restrained.
This golden dict we should all get, I guess.
Yeah, it's actually very good, and you can just type and search for things.
Where can we get it from?
You can download it. Just Google it, and you will get it. It's a platform, and then I can share you the files. Then you will have to insert few files in that in order to run. So
we can download the program and you can share the files.
yes, and I'll show you how to. It's very easy actually to put it in and use it, but still I can show one day. So it's restrain, or it prevents, and so on. So this statement that Trisarga, Amrisha, and so on, Mrisha, it's just preventing us from developing a deep relationship with the dead matter, the dull matter. Okay. Amrisha iti pathe bhutendriya devata rupa satya yat satyataya mithya sargopi satyavat pratiyate. Now in some editions, they write it to be Mrisha, which directly means false. And in some editions of Bhagavatam, they take it to be Amrisha. And Amrisha literally means true. So now, when we have the Pathantara of Amrisha, then it means that it looks Satyataya Mithya Sargopi Satyavat Pratiyate, because of the association of the Satya, the truth, because it is based upon the actual factual truth. Even though it is Mithya Sarga, it is false creation, it appears to be Satya. So that's the reading when we take it to be Amrisha. Okay. Then Svena Dhamna. Dhamna stands for Mahasa. Mahasa can mean splendor, it can mean power, the spiritual potency, and so on. Nirasta Kuhakam. Nirastam Kuhakam Kapatam Yasmin Tam. So the Lord Parameshwara, by his own spiritual potency, he drives away all false effect to him. Basically, the Acharyas say, Kuhakam Kapatam basically means Maya Karyam. Maya cannot at all cover Parameshwara. Why? Because of Svena Dhamna, because of the spiritual potency of the Lord. And that's why in the very first verse, Vedvyas ji, he is indicating the fact that those who declare the point that we were God, and then somehow we got covered with the external potency, and now we are here. And by doing sadhana, we'll again get back to our upadhi and we'll again be God. So that is false in the very first verse, because the Lord can never be. It says Sada. By his own potency, he drives away the influence of the Prakriti, the three modes of nature. And this is the same sentence statement given in Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna, that even though I'm engaged in the karmas of the earthly planet, na liptaha. What is that? Karmani na liptaha. In the 4th chapter, there is one verse, if one remembers. Na lipta, very nice verse. That I'm not lipta in the karmas here.
It's Upanishad na
Karmam
karmani
karmani
lipyate.
No, I'm talking of one verse from the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Na karmani limpanti. Yeah. Na mam karmani limpanti, na cha karma phale spriha. Something like that. So he's not lipta, he's not into it. So that's why he's Satyam Param Vayam Sada Dhimahi. So he is the only Satya, truth. He is Parameshwaram, Param. And Vayam, we all always meditate upon such supreme truth. So this was the Anvaya of the first verse. I hope we understood something or everything.
Yeah, it was very nice. I have a question. Is there any place where we can look at this type of advice with the translation of each word so that we can start having more vocabulary?
Means translation of each.
Or if we could just have this Anvaya itself. So for instance, I'm typing all these notes and I'm copying the Anvaya as I'm listening to you, but if I could just type the notes instead of copying the Anvaya itself, then
What I'll do is I will share this Google Doc with everyone, and you can, take advantage of it. And regarding Akrura Prabhu's point that if we can get word-to-word meanings and all, so actually we have started doing something on that, and here it goes.
Yeah, like my specific question is, because when we look at, for example, Prabhupada's works, we can check each word, what does it mean? But there is no grammar. There is no meanings for grammar. Like Asya, it doesn't say it's like, so in this case, you made like a very detailed description, but if there is at least one, two, or any text